welcome back everyone to another episode of Mumbles! Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. I'm sorry. Okay, today, my friends, I'm back here. The echo's not as bad here, to be honest, and we're going to be working on the other spot, so we'll be back there eventually, but not this week. This week we'll be here. So, today on Mumbles, we're doing a game review, game review. Let me do my, I'm gonna die. Okay, anyway, so we're doing a game review, and today, we're not just reviewing any game. Today, my friends, we're reviewing Pixel Hero. Pixel Heroes, there are heroes, gonna be Pixel, I don't know. But we're reviewing Pixel Heroes today. So, this is a game that came out a while ago, but then it was released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in February. So we're reviewing it today. I'm very excited to be able to review it. So let's jump into this game review. So what is Pixel Heroes? Now Pixel Heroes is basically a look back, well not a look back, but it's basically a take on retro gaming. So it is Pixel. The reason it's called Pixel Heroes is because you are pixels in this game. So basically, the way this game starts is you are given you spawn in a cavern and you pick heroes out of a bunch of heroes. You pick 3 heroes. When you pick these 3 heroes, you learn that evil is afoot and you must defeat this evil. So basically, you take these 3 people and you go to and you find a quest, and then you go and you complete these quests. That is basically the basis of Pixel Heroes. Now, when you're doing these quests, you can earn items and things like that. You do have to travel on the road. There's a lot of humor in this game. We'll talk about that more later. But there is a lot of things going on that are right for this game. So, you can die, and the combat itself is turn-based. But again, we'll talk about that more later. So let's get into the meat and bones of this review now. First off, the graphics. The graphics are what you can expect. It is a pixelized game, so don't expect great graphics. It looks like an older game. Well, it doesn't look like an older game, but it looks just like you'd think a pixel game would look today. Very clean, very flashy, but still pixelized. So be aware of that. Now the soundtrack in this game is very good. It's got the soundtrack that I would, refer to as retro gaming. It's got that kind of a soundtrack which is very nice and I love a lot. So, great soundtrack for it. Now the controls in this game are very simple because it is a turn-based combat system. Really, the controls, everything works great. When you're in the main town, which is your main hub, you do use the 2 triggers to move back and forth through the town, and everything else is pretty much just X, triangle, all that stuff. Now the gameplay itself, now this is where we're really going to get into some complicated stuff, not really complicated, but we're really going to talk about some stuff here. First off, in the gameplay, we're going to talk about the combat system. Now the combat system in this game, as I said, is turn-based. Now, you get to pick, in the beginning of the game, as I said, you get to pick the composition of your team. You need a healer, basically. You don't have to have a healer, but I would highly recommend that you have a healer in your party. So you need a healer in this game, but you can pick any character that you want. Now, when you go into combat, you cannot attack with the same character 2 times in a row. So each character has special abilities that they're given to when you get them, and you can use these special abilities and then they have a cooldown. But you cannot use that character 2 times in a row. You have to switch to another character. So you have to use strategy and planning out in doing this. Each monster that you fight basically has a weakness in this game. So once you figure out each monster's weakness, you can plan your items and your abilities accordingly. Now by abilities, I mean basically your weapons and things like that. Your weapons can have certain stats such as, causing poison or things like that. And you can kind of plan ahead when you see these monsters as to how you want to attack them. You can see all this in the gameplay. It'll make more sense when you're watching the picture. But that's basically how the combat in this game goes. So, there is a leveling system for your characters. They have 5 different categories. You can see all that in the video that you're seeing right now. And based on that, you know how RPGs and stuff go. So I don't need to explain that aspect to you. So now that we've talked about the combat, let's talk about the items. Yes, this game does drop random items, which is very cool because, there's not one set place. I don't have to go to one mission. I don't have to go to the haunted house in order to get, the haunted scepter or something like that. Ooh. I don't have to do that. It just randomly drops different things with different stats. So this can be a little frustrating at times, especially when you need, better equipment. But it's also kind of cool. I like the take on it. So very cool idea with that. Now, we've talked about the combat. We've talked about the items. In your inventory, you can only hold 20 things, so you have to manage your inventory accordingly. And finally, the final thing I want to talk about in the gameplay is the humor of this game. This game is very humorous. It makes a lot of fun of a lot of different things, which is awesome. And it's just overall very, very fun. It's a funny game. It will tell jokes, and here's a great example of it. When you're on the road going to a dungeon, at some point you may pass someone dressed as the Grim Reaper. Now this may or may not be a child. If you stand there and look at this child, or not look at the child, but look in the eyes of the mask that the child is wearing, eventually he'll start crying and run away and say, "Mom, don't be that to strangers," or something weird like that. Another great representation of this is in the main town itself. When you go through the main town and you're walking there, you will see exclamation points. These people holding exclamation points. Now, normally in a game, when you see exclamation points, you think, "Oh, quest!" They've made fun of this. These are just this is just exclamation salesmen. See the humor of this game? Very cool. Now, this game does have some replayability because you get new characters as you go through each dungeon. So that also helps the overall score of this game. Now let's talk about the cons. The main cons in this game are the difficulty, basically. The difficulty in this game is difficult, and if you're don't strategize and plan for it, it can get a little overwhelming. And finally, the repetitiveness. This game is very repetitive, just as all those old NES games were. This game can get very repetitive at times, so that is another con that kind of detracts from the value of this game. Overall, still a great game. All that's really left is to ask, what the heck's it going to get in our Mumbles review? Without a doubt, Pixel Heroes, you get a 7 out of 10. It's a great little game. I definitely recommend that you check it out, especially for all those people that like retro games. If you like retro RPGs, you are going to love this game and you're going to love the humor in it. It's a lot of fun, but it does take time and it can get dicey. And sometimes people don't like games like that. I do, but some other people don't. So 7 out of 10 is what you get. Definitely check this one out. It's a great game. I'm so happy I got to review it. Check it out on PlayStation, check it out on Xbox, check it out on computer, Steam, all that stuff. Check them out. It's a great game. Anyways, guys, this has been another episode of Mumbles. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. Please smack that subscribe button, smack the like button, smack all those buttons. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, everyone. Take care.